Okay, yeah, I think I'll probably go ahead and get started. Can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, so I'm Mackenzie. I'm here with Connect Bellevue. We're a transportation management agency that assists employers and property managers and the general public to connect them to transportation options. This week is Transportation Week, which is being hosted by 2030 districts. So I'll go ahead and pass it off to Daniel to speak real quickly about the 2030 districts.
Great. Thank you so much, Kenzie. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel Pope. I'm the executive director of the Bellevue 2030 district, and I'm very excited to be here today and to kick off Transportation Week. We've got a lot of really fun events coming up this week, and we're excited to be talking more about how property owners can help encourage their tenants and companies that are within their buildings to do more to reduce single occupancy vehicle trips, reduce carbon emissions, and create better transportation options for folks in our region. So next slide. For folks that don't know, the Bellevue and Seattle 2030 districts are two of our 26 established districts across North America. We're in places like New York, Dallas, Philly, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Detroit. And all of these districts are committed to achieving a 50% reduction in energy, water, and transportation emissions by the year 2030. We're membership organizations composed of property owners, property managers, architects, engineers, contractors. And on this next slide, you can see a cross-section of the kinds of folks who are involved in our work. So all these folks are kind of helping us advance our programming to achieve this 50% reduction targets. And all these property owners are committed to actually getting there for their own buildings as well. So this is who we are and what we're doing. And we're so excited to be partnering with Connect Bellevue, who have been just incredible partners on our transportation work in Bellevue. Finally, on this next slide, I just wanted to share a couple of the other upcoming events. On the 30th, we're going to be doing a Future of Transportation in the Region panel. We'll also be doing a Ride, Learn, and Connect mobility and happy hour, which will be a test ride on some Lime bikes. We'll also be doing a tour to terminals down at the Port of Seattle for folks who want to come down, again, on Lime bikes. But we'll be going and checking out a variety of terminals and learn about some of their sustainable transportation initiatives down at the Port of Seattle. On November 6th, we're going to have a Clean Buildings Law and Incentive Program webinar for folks who want to learn more about how the city of Bellevue is supporting property owners in achieving compliance with the Washington State Clean Buildings Law. And on November 18th, we'll have a virtual PCBs and building materials event as well. That is going to be, that'll be a webinar, and that's to help people become more aware of what they should do if they find out that they have PCBs in their building materials. And finally, we're going to be doing a tour of Seattle University on November 20th through the Seattle Public Utilities Green Business Program. So if you feel like coming over to the Seattle side for some of these events, we've got a lot of events coming down the pipeline and more to come for our members in Bellevue as well. Thank you so much, Kenzie, and I'll kick it back to you.
Yeah, great, thanks. So as we go into this event, some things that kind of I want people to be thinking about as we're talking through this, and if any questions come up, feel free to send them in the chat or raise your hand on here and speak to me. But the main what should be kind of guiding us through this presentation are the complaints that we've heard from employees regarding their commutes, what barriers might exist for them in trying other commutes, and how your current transportation benefits address these issues. So if there's anything in particular that folks want to get addressed, feel free to send it in the chat, but otherwise I'll kind of just continue on from here, keeping these in mind. For our agenda, we're kind of first going to cover shifting commuter preferences and how the pandemic has changed things, and what that especially means for employers and property managers. We're going to go over some of the sustainable commute options and the available programs. We also have Julie Pioni here from King County Metro. Metro Vanpool to talk about the Vanpool program, its benefits, and how you can get folks signed up with it. We'll also speak about the Orca business programs, and then finally, how you can support alternative commutes, how you can really use that as a retention tool by incentivizing them and using the available tools, such as the rideshare online platform or currently existing programs that are already in place that you can share information about and really get your employees interested in trying alternative commutes and being more committed to being more making it easier for them to get to work. And then we'll just have our final closing and any questions y'all might have. So right off the bat, 1 in 5 Seattle households is actually car-free, and 1/3 of the US population doesn't drive, either because of disabilities or maybe they're new to the country and haven't gotten their license yet. By only focusing on the folks who can drive to work, you limit yourself to a whole, you exclude a whole population that is otherwise would be great employees to have, or they'll end up feeling excluded from work. Some of the reasons for this are, growing car ownership costs can cost $10,000 or more a year. Traffic congestion has gotten really bad, especially on the east side. In our region, there's an average of 63 hours that were lost to traffic in 2024, and we could only expect that to increase with the incoming I-5 closures, as well as the FIFA World Cup happening in next year. And of course, sustainability concerns have definitely been top of mind for a lot of folks, and transportation is actually Washington's largest source of greenhouse gas emissions. Within our area, Commute Seattle did a study and found that the people most satisfied with their commutes are actually the cyclists. So you can see here, cyclists were the happiest with their commutes, and then walkers, and then at the very end, we have drive alone. So people have not been satisfied, and during the pandemic, what we really saw happen was that people moved away from city centers, and as a result, now their commutes are even longer, and we're seeing a strain on roads that we haven't seen previously. In the context of return to office mandates, commute concerns are really the number one thing that are making people resistant to coming into the office. It's also found to be a main reason why people will leave jobs. And you'll see here too, the higher cost for transportation is driving that as well. So RTO offices, our efforts are heavily dependent on commute satisfaction. And in terms of how that transfers for employers or property managers, we found that properties that support alternative commutes have faster lease-up times and higher tenant renewal rates. And employees actually show greater loyalty and better job satisfaction when offered robust transportation benefits. Being in an area that has supported alternative commutes also sees economic benefits. There's increased economic activity, and you're supporting the local retailers around you. If people want to come to work and where they live is somewhere or where they are working is somewhere that they can easily, there's a lot of people walking around, going to other shops, that makes them want to stay around their workplace as well. And you can kind of be a push in that direction. And then, of course, parking costs are another really big concern. You'll see here the annualized cost per space, once you're accounting for the operating costs, the construction costs, the land costs, it comes out to costing developers about $5,000 a year to maintain. But yet, most parking spots at an office still are about $250 on average. So that's a cost that's essentially being translated in other ways and higher rents, or when offering this cheaper parking, it's essentially subsidizing driving because that's a cost that's not being accounted for. And then, of course, the big one is we have the light rail coming. That's going to make a really big difference, especially for us over on the east side. It's extending south down to Federal Way, December 6th. And this is really significant. I think employers that get in on it now and start offering transportation benefits to their employees, property managers that start considering it are really going to be at a advantage because they won't be stuck in the rush of once it is across and people saying, hey, where are my benefits? How can I use this to get to work? It's really best to set yourself up for success now, especially in Bellevue, because our workers primarily live in Seattle. There's nearly twice as many Bellevue workers living in Seattle than in Bellevue itself. And what we hear all the time in doing this work is, oh, I'll consider alternative modes once the train connects. So that's clearly going to be a really big impact on the region, and we really want to make sure that we're prepared for it now. Beyond the light rail, some other transportation modes, we have the buses. We've even got these double-decker buses. Community Transit and King County Metro now have them. Of course, there's the Sounder train, the heavy rail commuter train, and then there's also cycling. And realistically, it's any sort of combination of these that makes a robust transportation system work. So people can park at a light rail station or at the Sounder station, and then take that mode into work, kind of avoid having to bring their car into the workplace, or they can even, bring their bike on the bus for those portions that maybe it's a little bit too long to walk, but they still don't want to have to get into a car for work. And then we did briefly touch on vanpool, so now I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Julie to speak on the vanpool program. 1 second, Julie, I'll pull it up for you. I can remember how to present. Okay, there we go. All right, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Cool.
Thanks, Kenzie. Hello, everybody. And again, thanks, Kenzie and Connect Bellevue for this opportunity to share information about the Metro Vanpool and Vanshare program. My name's Julie Peony. I'm with King County Metro. I'm a transportation planner in the Vanpool program. Next slide. Thank you. I just wanted to start off with sharing some basic information about our programs. What is a vanpool? It's a consistent group of 5 or more commuters who share a similar origin, destination, and work schedule. It's like carpooling, but Metro provides the vehicle and everything for the commute. The group roles include at least 2 drivers who are responsible for operating the vehicle and a bookkeeper to track and report on the mileage and ridership. Both the driver and bookkeeper complete an online orientation to receive approval for their role. Our team usually tries to encourage as many drivers as possible, so multiple people can share the driving responsibility. Along with assistance from our vanpool team, each group decides on their route, the work schedule, where to meet the group members, and other operating logistics. The driver usually keeps the van at their home, then meets everybody at 1 or 2 pickup locations, then drives everyone to work. Everything is included, which is a great benefit since gas prices are still high. The vanpool program provides the van, the fuel, tolls, maintenance, insurance, and an emergency ride home program. We also have a van program called vanshare to connect commuters from transit hubs such as the Sounder train or the light rail station to the work site for the last few miles. Next slide, please. The Metro Vanpool and Vanshare programs provide many benefits for commuters. Employees can save time by traveling in HOV and toll lanes so they can get to work faster. Employees reduce stress by sharing driving roles in the vanpool rather than driving alone in traffic. They can save money on their personal vehicle costs and parking by sharing the ride. And employees can enjoy more personal time to catch up on emails, texting, or even a favorite show by participating in the vanpool or vanshare program. Finally, it's a reliable commute, so they can stay on schedule and get home on time for their family or personal commitments. Next slide, please. There's also employer or property manager benefits for promoting vanpool. Offering a transportation subsidy helps retain and attract valuable employees or tenants to your building. Vanpools carrying 5+ people reduce the demand for parking at your work site. Sharing the ride creates happy employees because they have a shorter commute and can enjoy their vanpool community, so the commute is less stressful. And finally, vanpooling helps reduce your company's or property's carbon footprint and eases traffic congestion in the Puget Sound region. Next slide, please. And just a little bit about the costs and payment details. With vanshare only traveling a maximum 20 miles per day, the cost is a flat $200 split amongst the group. The vanpool monthly cost is based on several factors: trip distance, vehicle size, whether it's a 7, 12, or 15 passenger van, the number of people in the vanpool, and the work schedule. We offer a 3-day, a 4-day, even up to a 7-day work schedule. So it's flexible for all different returning to office situations. The average cost is similar to a monthly transit pass, about $146 per person per month. So it's very affordable. We also have a commuter calculator on our website, so you or employees can determine the group or individual cost. We have various forms of payment. Employers can sign up for the Orca Business Passport program to support their employees with a transportation benefit that covers most public transportation modes, or we accept online payments, and we even accept checks. Next slide, please. Now, what are the steps to get started to share this information with your employees or tenants? Our program was established over 45 years ago, and we currently have nearly 1,000 metro vanpools or vanshares in the Puget Sound region. In the Bellevue area, there are about 168 groups commuting to Bellevue work sites, with over 120 groups traveling to the downtown area. You can see the destination clusters of where the vanpool or vanshare groups go on the slide, with a high concentration in the downtown corridor, but groups going north and south to the Factoria I-90 corridor and the Spring District. With so many existing groups, the easiest way for commuters to participate in vanpool or vanshare is to join one of these active groups so they can start saving money, time, and start enjoying their commute. Commuters can also test ride their commute in a vanpool and vanshare. They can try out a van for 3 free trips before making the decision to join full-time or part-time. Next slide, please. Here are the next steps on how to share information about our program. On our website, kingcounty.gov/vanpool, you'll see our vanpool welcome page. As you see on the slide, we have a short video that quickly explains how our vanpool program works, so it's an easy and a great resource to have on your transportation portal or other digital communication channels alongside your transportation program. On our website, under what is a vanpool, we have 2 options for commuters: join an existing vanpool or start a new group. It's highlighted in blue. Next slide, please. And here's a closer look of that link. Here are the 2 options for commuters with step-by-step instructions on joining an existing group or starting their own vanpool. These steps include ride matching resources to find an active group and all the logistics to start a new group. Next slide, please. There are other tools and resources such as rideshareonline.com, which is the free ride matching platform owned by the state of Washington and managed by our agency, King County Metro. Our Seat Finder tool is based on rideshareonline.com data, so it has the most accurate information and includes vanpools from other transit agencies such as Kitsap Transit and Community Transit. Besides finding an existing vanpool at rideshareonline.com, it's a great resource for finding other commuters to start a carpool or find other people to start a vanpool. The platform is also mobile friendly, so commuters can easily sign up or log into their account to find matches. On the slide, you can see an example of a ride match list from a commuter entering their origin, destination, and work hours. Users can view their match list by mode to find an existing vanpool or carpool. On this list, it shows 12 vanpool matches and over 23 people who are interested in matching for carpools and could be potential matches to start a vanpool. This platform helps commuters connect with people at their company and with commuters from a nearby worksite, across the street, or a few blocks away. Next slide, please. And finally, another rideshareonline.com benefit is a quick list of current vanpools with our dynamic vanpool links or list. The dynamic link is generated from rideshareonline.com data and can promote vanpools commuting to a specific employer or city. For example, we can provide a link for vanpools to Bellevue, and it shows the list you can see on the screen, a list view or a map view. The list view is searchable and shows all the group details. It has the vanpool number, the origin, destination, work hours, employer, contact name, and the email with a link to the route. So commuters can review the list and look for matches for their commute and use the email to contact the group to ask about seat availability and if they can take a test ride. You can also use the map features to narrow in on a specific area of Bellevue, like the I-90 corridor or the Spring District, and export a list to view all the existing vanpool van shares in this area. The links can be embedded on your web pages, in social media, or sent in an email. This is just another way to share existing vanpool or van share information, and it's the easiest way for commuters to participate and get started on a shared commute in a vanpool or van share. Next slide, please. And then here finally is a testimonial from one of our healthcare vanpoolers describing their enjoyment about their shared commute. Connecting with colleagues who ride in the vanpool is fantastic. It's a lovely way to get ready for the workday on the way to work and simply decompress after a busy workday on the drive home. Thanks again for your attention and to Connect Bellevue for hosting this virtual session. And please feel free to contact myself or my colleague Kiana if you have any questions, or contact us directly or at our main email address. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julie. Are there any questions about vanpool right now? I will also touch on it a little bit in my presentation. So, all set? Okay, I'll hop back into mine then. All right. So we have kind of three areas in which you can support alternative commutes. First, we'll talk about the most obvious, if a little, the most cost prohibitive. That's going to be offering transportation benefits. So the three options we have, there's a transportation stipend. So we see that pretty commonly. It's where an employer will say, here's a certain amount of money per month that you can spend either on parking or on a transit pass or anything else that you might be using to get to work. There's also, of course, paying for individual transit passes. So maybe you have some folks that are going to choose to pay for parking, and then you have others that you're going to pay directly for maybe a monthly pass for them to get to work via bus, or they have a set amount of money that they can spend specifically on transit. And then there's also the Orca Business Passport. That is where you can completely offer all unlimited rides on all available transit modes. Some other quick ones I want to mention that I won't be getting into today, but those are going to be commuter shuttles, e-bike rental services, or all-in-one commute management platforms. If you have any questions about those, just reach out to me and I can connect you to those specific companies. They've got their own salespeople that can answer all your questions. I'm not exactly an expert on those guys, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about Orca Business Passport. So this is an all-inclusive benefit that provides employers a yearly pass covering unlimited access to regional transit at a fraction of the retail rate. So the modes covered under this are going to be all of those you see here. So King County Metro, Sound Transit, Pierce Transit, Kitsap Transit, Community Transit, the list goes on. Essentially, no matter where your employees are coming from, most likely they're going to be covered under this offering. And as we just heard about vanpool and vanshare, those are going to be completely covered within this as well as the home free guarantee emergency rides. They can get 8 a year. Basically, what that is that if they took transit to work and maybe their kid is sick and they have to go pick them up from school, that is a covered option and they can get a Lyft or an Uber, and that cost will then be covered for those emergencies. The way that pricing works, it's going to be set off of zones, and you can figure this all out on the zone cost calculator. It's based off of the transit usage in your zone, and it's updated every 6 months. So for those zones, this is per employee per year, and you do have to offer it to all full-time benefits eligible employees. But just comparing that to the retail rate, if you were to get a Puget Pass, would be about nearly $1,300 a year. Or, earlier we mentioned that the parking costs average in Bellevue at least is about $250 per month. So that comes out to about $3,000 per year. There's also additional incentives off. So for new customers, they can get 35% off of the employer paid portion up to $7,000. And then for the next year, 25, the third year, 15% off. I mentioned that this is going to be off of the employer portion because there's also an option to have employees copay, where they can cover up to 50%. They can have that amount deducted from their paycheck. And then within Bellevue specifically, there's a passport rebate of up to $50 per pass, or up to 100 passes for the first year, and then 100 per pass, up to 100 for the second year. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out and we can connect you to the right folks. Other than offering transportation benefits, there's also a lot of ways to incentivize sustainable commutes. Recognition programs is a super easy way to do this. I know I saw a presentation recently that for Disney in California, the way that for their workers, they have vanpool programs. They're really trying to get folks in without taking up too much parking, get their employees in. And so they have a newsletter that goes out and they take an opportunity to highlight the commute champions and feature them in those newsletters. And they have fun little photo shoots with them, and it just gets people excited about it and really lets people know what other options are out there as well. You can also offer perks with some of the assets that you already have. So maybe priority parking, parking cash outs, or free or reduced parking. So the parking spots closest to the entrance or closest to the elevators, you can have those be vanpool spots or electric vehicle spots, or even offer discounted rates for those that are vanpool or carpooling. What we do with some of our buildings is for the people that are taking any sort of sustainable mode, they'll offer a couple of days of free parking. So this is an example of a sign that we've used with some of our buildings. And then, of course, leveraging the available tools is another really easy way to just make this go as far as we can. We already heard a little bit about the rideshare online platform from Julie. So anyone can go on and, match for a ride. I put in from South Lake Union to Bellevue, and there's already 8 carpools of people that I could reach out to directly in the app. There's also existing incentives and challenges. WashDOT has one every year. It's the Switch Your Trips campaign. And your employees are eligible to win those rewards without you having to do anything. You just have to let them know that this program exists. If you wanted to, you could also become your own admin on the Rideshare Online platform. And in that situation, you're able to post special events and also gain commute insights about where your employees are commuting from or how often they are taking sustainable modes. All of that data is in the admin side of things. I included some guides in the digital toolkit that I'll send out, but it's a little bit more involved if you want to be an admin, but it's definitely a great option if you're looking to take it further. Here's an example of one of the challenges that one of the admins did, the community transit. And you can see here they've got individual achievers. Onto the digital toolkit, I'll go ahead and send the link in the chat here in a second, but I've included all sorts of flyers and posters that you can then go in and customize to share with your employees or share in your building. There's informative graphics on how to use rideshare online or other tools, all of the transit maps. There's a couple of case studies, and again, those rideshare online guides and videos that I mentioned. For carpool and vanpool specifically, here are some of the ways that you can utilize what is in the toolkit. So you can share the vanpool benefits and the how-to guides, utilize the email templates to share with employees or tenants, encourage use of rideshare online ahead of time, especially if you're looking to have an event, because once everyone is in rideshare online, they can be easily contacted. You can print those customized flyers. So here's one. You'll be able to update the location, time, and add your logo or change it however you'd like. There's some vanpool and carpool formation worksheets in there. If you want to have an event, and this is a great opportunity to let people chat with each other, discover where they're commuting from. If there's any hesitation on maybe like joining a van with folks that they don't know, this is a great way to get over that and build it as an opportunity for greater social connection within their amongst their peers. And then once you do have van pools coming to your building, it's great to stay knowledgeable about which ones those are and who the contacts are. If there's someone that leaves, that way you can easily check in and say, hey, do you need somebody else to join this? It's a lot easier to keep an existing van pool going or have people join them than to start up new ones. So if you can kind of keep those, if you can assist in maintaining that, it works really well. And there's definitely some van pools that have been around for like years and years that have just kind of switched through different people. And of course, the free ticket to ride, just spreading awareness around that. It's not going to cost you anything, and it allows your employees to really feel like their employer or their property manager cares about their commute and is trying to address their concerns. Sorry, 1 second. There are existing reward programs already. I mentioned the Switch Your Trips. So I think last year was it that they gave away an e-bike. They have some pretty grand prizes. All folks need to do is log their trips and they can be eligible for those rewards. Within Bellevue, we also have a reward program where if you log 25 days of sustainable commutes, then you can win any of these rewards. And there's also just ongoing challenges. Spreading the word, sharing this information out, it's going to be the easiest and most cost-effective way to utilize Commute solutions to your advantage. There are, no matter where you are, there are going to be TMAs, transportation management associations, or municipal transportation demand programs that can assist you. So feel free to reach out or just figure out what's in your area. These folks want to help you, want to get people out of their cars and trying different modes. So they're more than happy to learn about whatever concerns you have and assist in addressing them. And I think that's all I have. Thank you so much. Let me grab that toolkit and I'll send out an email as well that includes all of the information we covered today. I'll send out the slides too. I linked some of the images and such in here. But let me grab that. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to say?
Well, this was really great, Kenzie, and it sounds like there's just a lot of fantastic options for how people can help support and provide better commuting options to tenants and businesses in their buildings. So we're excited to push this out to folks and hopefully get more property owners and property managers thinking about how they can encourage folks to take advantage of these great programs.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once it gets started, it's so easy to continue. It's kind of funny. I think I've heard the vanpool folks say that some of the best marketing is just the vans themselves because people see them driving around. I know in my building, there's a couple that we have, and they get curious about it and they look it up. And if their friends are doing it, then it's shared out there. So all of it is just, it's kind of a rolling ball. Okay, here is the toolkit. And we're always adding stuff to this as well. All right, thank you guys so much. I'll send out an email kind of recapping everything as well and sending out these links. Thank you to Julie for presenting and to the 2030 districts for putting this all together. And I hope to see you guys at some other transportation events this week. Super exciting time. So thank you.
Thanks again, Kenzie.
Thank
Bye.
you, Kenzie.